yesterday there were some questions that people started emailing my office and on different social media sites. There were some questions which I want to go over right now because these came up over and over again. So why the name change all of a sudden? And again, this has been a process I know that some people have been working on for over a decade, but really as it relates here, the current process that I've been a part of in the sense of becoming aware that there were individuals working to try to change the name, that's been going on for about 2 years. Are we able to keep the name Squaw Valley at all, was a question out there. And the bottom line is, I don't know. But if that is your position, I want you to communicate that clearly, that that is a name that you want to keep. And when you get information in the mail from me, just you can. I've listed 9 different proposed name changes that have come up, including Yokuts Valley. Roman Raintree has suggested that name, so I thought it was appropriate for that to be one of the potential options. And I want, please. I want to let you all know too that Roman Raintree is here and other individuals, and he'll have an opportunity to ask comments or questions too, or if you have questions for him and he'd like to respond to those, I think that's very appropriate for that to take place now. So again, are we able to keep the name Squaw Valley at all? I don't know. But again, if it's important for the residents of this community to communicate clearly about what their desire is, and I'm going to communicate that to the governor's office. I'm going to communicate that to the President of the United States as well as the Department of the Interior. If there is a name change to occur, who gets to choose? Well, I'll tell you right now that there have been a select few individuals that have put some suggested name changes out there, and again, they've left a lot of the residences out of this process. My goal is if a name change is to occur, you pick what that name is to be. Will they address the cost of business having to change all their marketing materials? So I know that Roman Raintree at one point had said that he had put a GoFundMe account together. I don't know where all of that stands, and he'll have an opportunity to share. And I don't know if AB 2022 is passed, or if the Department of Interior takes action prior to AB 2022 taking effect, if the federal and or state government is going to cover all costs. Some questions have come up about vital statistics, vital records, driver's licenses, who's going to pay for those needing to be changed, and I don't know. I don't have an answer to that question at this time. 2 more questions, and then we're going to open it up to all of you. Does this affect non-federally recognized tribes, and would the non-federally recognized tribes be looped in with other federally recognized tribes? So I do want to say that over the course of the last 2 years, I've had an opportunity to speak to both federally recognized tribes, non-federally recognized tribes, individuals who have Native American blood, some who are part of different tribes locally and separately, and it runs the gamut about what people think about the name. But I will tell you, by and large, communications I've had with most of the tribes here locally, what they say is, regardless of how we feel, the residents should decide for themselves what their name is to be, and also too the local tribe. As I understand it, the local Squaw Valley tribe, all the research I've done, and again, I am not an expert in this area, but it's my understanding that the Waxahchie tribe, who has been here for many hundreds of years, is the only local tribe to Squaw Valley, and I've really tried to seek out individuals who are part of that tribe to hear kind of what they've wanted, how they feel as well. Can we have a vote for the name change and express our local opinions? And so again, yes. And the mailing that I'm going to be doing will help to accomplish that. But I want to let all of you know as well that if for some reason or another you don't get this mailing from me, you're more than welcome to email my office or communicate through Facebook. I would prefer an email because we're documenting all of this stuff as much as possible. But the mailings that I am sending out, that's so important to me because these are verified addresses that I have of people who live in Squaw Valley. So I want to make sure I communicate clearly what the residents want to, again, our federal, state, and local representatives. So with that, I'd like to get to the point where all of you can have an opportunity to comment and or ask questions. I'll do my best to answer questions. So with that, just raise your hand and I'll, yes, right here. I'll do my very best to get to everyone. And we have someone with a microphone who will come up and...
Good afternoon. My name is Roseanne Dominguez. I'm one of those people who have lived here my entire life. My grandparents have lived here, my great-grandparents, my ancestors back to the conquistadors have lived here. I am of this valley. I am Waxahachie. I am Wauchumni. I am Kacheli and Michikai. I am a part of the matriarchal team or family that was a part of this valley. All right? We've never been contacted to talk about our desire. I can tell you right now, this family is against a name change because you're erasing my family. I deeply resent that. I deeply resent anyone coming in and talking about my family not belonging if they don't live locally. I've lived locally my entire life. I'm deeply against this. I know some people find the name offensive. I know some people find it demeaning, and all I can say for those people is I'm sorry you've experienced something negative attached to the word squaw. To my people, to my ancestors, it's meant woman. That's all it's ever meant. I know that some women have experienced demeaning, that word being used in a demeaning manner to them. Those women have also told me they've gotten those people's faces and straightened them out. We know what it means to be a strong woman because we're the people that have lived here. We're the people that kept our families going when the men went out to hunt and to gather and to get the supplies to survive. It was my ancestors who did that, okay? And I know there are so many new families in this valley. There was a time when most of us could recognize our neighbors, you know, and we could say, hey, we could ride the properties, we could ride the fields. We knew everyone. There's so many new people here. And I'm not taking away the fact that some people may find that word offensive. I don't. And I think my family's history should have a say in my family's home. Thank you.
We have a young lady over here who'd like to make a comment. I think we've got a microphone right here for you.
Hi, I'm a resident of Squaw Valley, and I'd just like to correct some information that you gave, Mr. Magsig.
Sure.
The fact is, the name cannot be kept. The law has already been passed, and what we really need to be talking about is what would be an appropriate name for our community. And we're not going to be able to keep the name. That's just the truth. And Mr. Magsig, I think you should be honest about that. The bill was passed unanimously by the state legislature. Jim Patterson voted for it. It's already law.
All right, hold on. Yeah, hold on. So I want to share with you, we have several hundred people here today, and it's very important for all of us to respect what each person has to say. I understand, but please, it's important for everybody's voice to be heard. So with that,
would you please correct that information, though, Mr. Magsig? The law is passed, and we need to discuss what would be appropriate.
Well, so I will say this.
We cannot keep the name.
Well,
we cannot.
Isn't there 6 places that are under review?
So
no,
it's
already been changed.
The state law has, supersedes the feds. The feds could not rename our community. They renamed our basin. Our geographic basin is now called Yokuts Valley.
So hold on one second. I will share. So at the end of the day, the purpose of this meeting today is for your voices to be heard. And the people of Squaw Valley, your voice has been left out of this process. My goal is to give all of you an opportunity to express what you want, and I'm going to communicate that. I will concede this. I cannot guarantee you that the Squaw Valley name can be kept. But I can tell you, if there is an opportunity for Fresno County to fight to keep the name, if there's any legal opportunity to do that, if that is the desire of the residents of Squaw Valley, I commit to you that we will do that. So. We have a young lady here in the back.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Jocelyn Harper, and I'm not only a second-generation Squaw Valleyan, but I am related through marriage to the Drakes, which is one of the founding families of Squaw Valley. The issue here tonight isn't how Squaw Valley got its name, how the history of it was taught to us in school by tribal members, or why we should be so proud of it. The true issue is the reasons why they want to change it. When my family came to this area, it was to create a home, not just for themselves, but for future generations. People with those kinds of aspirations don't name their community after a racial slur for women's genitals. The true issue is that Bill AB 2022 is a cloak and dagger for the real issue. The true motives here is modern day cultural assimilation. Cultural assimilation is the process which a minority group or culture comes to resemble a society's majority group, or assume the values, behaviors, and beliefs of another group, whether fully or partially. Renaming or removing the name sterilizes our community's history and culture, and that is forced assimilation. For what? To validate a person's feelings? To improve the quality of life of a local tribe that supports the name? Or to shame us for travesties whom none of us here have committed? It solves nothing. We need to preserve the name, not just as a name, but as a history of successful multiculturalism from a time of true injustices that happened in other communities, not here. I fully support keeping the name Squaw Valley, and I am willing to do whatever is needed to keep it instated here. And my question is, how can they force us to no longer use the name? If we want to continue putting Squaw Valley as our recognized address, or put up a sign that says "Welcome to Squaw Valley" on private property, what methods and motives do they have to remove that and end it?
Well, I will say, if we're talking about private property, then you have First Amendment issues right off the bat with freedom of speech and expression. So, again, today, what we're here talking about is the place name, Squaw Valley, as a community. And I will say that the federal government does have authority over federal maps and how they recognize certain places. And the state of California, too, does have the authority to pass legislation. And there's a bill that right now is on the governor's desk, and I do expect him to sign that bill, AB 2022, where the state would like to remove, I think, 80 place names in California, remove that term squaw. But there also is a process where the community, within 180 days after, after the name is to be removed, basically after that bill is signed, where the community can communicate a name that they want. And so, to me, what I'm trying to do in this whole process is give you an opportunity for your voice to be heard and communicate whatever name you want as a community, to communicate that back to the state. So, again, I'm trying to... I hear that. I hear you. I hear you loud and clear. So, I will say you can... The mailing I'm sending out to all of you gives you an opportunity. The first question I ask you is, do you want to change the name of Squaw Valley, yes or no? And you get to answer. You get to answer that. And then below that, I have different names that you can choose from, or a name, if there's a name that you like, you can write that in as well. Fair enough. So with that, let's get back to more comments. Bob, I'm going to give Bob an opportunity to ask a question. Please. Please.
Thank you very much, sir. I just wanted to say that let's try to have some reconciliation here. you know, I'm a resident. I've been here over 10 years. My family has lived up here like 30, 40 years. Whatever. We all live in this great state of California. And the fact of the matter is, as my wife earlier mentioned, our Jim Patterson, a good Republican, voted for this legislation. It sits on the governor's desk, although it has already passed because he failed to act within 12 days, which makes it automatically pass. I please ask people to give Mr. Raintree some respect. People say he's not from here. He's from here. His grandmother's from here. He spent his childhood up here. So let's not say that.
All right, hold on. And actually, Bob, what I'm going to do is...
I just wanted to address one thing.
Well, hold on. I'm going to give you an opportunity to do that. But actually, what I would like to do is... I want Mr. Raintree to have an opportunity, if he so chooses, to come up and just share a little bit. And I would ask that whatever speaker is speaking, please just listen, and you're going to be given an opportunity to speak too. So Bob,
That's a
please
good
finish.
idea, but I just wanted to say, I'm one of the residents, and there's a number of us that have been talking to your office for a long time about changing this name. So it's not factually correct to say there's no residents up here that support the name change. There's quite a few.
That's never been said, though, Bob. I made it clear that
it has. I went to a Board of Supervisors meeting where Mr. Raintree was and asked the board to hold a community meeting. That was a year ago.
But you just
That
said
was in January.
You just said that the board didn't recognize that there are residents who want a name
No, you
change.
said that.
I never said that.
You seem to imply that.
Implied. Your
Okay,
story's
I mean-
changing. But finish up your comments, and then we're gonna get to someone else.
Sure, I'm sorry, sir. As you mentioned previously, there's there's several thousand residents up here. There's a few hundred very vocal residents tonight. I fully support the name change, and I fully support Yokuts Valley out of respect for the people that were here before us. Thousands of years before us, and are still here. Thank you. Thank you, audience.
Thank you, Bob. And so with that, Mr. Raintree, if what I would say is maybe right up here in front. You're going to be next. I promise. You're going to have an opportunity next. You have my word. Yeah. So with that, it's important for us to listen, and it's very important for us to listen, and there's going to be opportunities for others to speak too, so please.
He never listened to us. Why would we listen to him?
I'm here for all of you. I didn't have to show up. I didn't have to come. I didn't have to say anything. I didn't have to show up. Hold on. Let me speak.
Shame on you. Sit down.
I went to the Board of Supervisors 3 times last year. The last time I was escorted out by sheriffs. I asked for a meeting 3 times last year. I even tried to rent out the hall twice. Was rejected because this topic was too political. I tried to take out a newspaper ad in the local newspaper. The online publication was also told it was too political.
So you want to hide our facts. Why do you mute community members on talking?
I got all the time in the world, just like you folk. If you can't extend me the respect, I won't extend you the respect and continue to speak to you. I will give you your opportunity to ask any number of questions, and I will answer them. Extend me the same respect I will extend to all of you. If it ain't going to happen, then you don't want to listen to me, and I'm fine just stepping aside. If you want to know what I've done, why you weren't included, ask him why no meeting's been held right here.
What does it mean? Squaw mean?
You go behind a lot of people's backs to get work done.
Why did you go to Orange Cove to have this?
Great question. Why did I go to Orange Cove? I started in July of 2020. I was given the directive by Supervisor Magsig's office to do 3 things. Host a meeting. If you're going to propose a new name, what's it going to be? And
This is ancient history, what he's done.
and get a petition. Do you want to come up here and talk? Going back to your question about Orange Cove, I felt like they were the largest incorporated neighbor to S Valley. So I thought, in order to garner support, to take it back to my local official, Mr. Magsig, maybe I should start with the largest incorporated neighbor. So I went to them, and Mayor Lopez was emphatic in December. If you can pull up the minutes or the transcripts from that meeting, you would hear him shouting, yes! Send in the paperwork. It seemed like it was a formality in January 2021. I was completely blindsided to find out that the 2 of them had spoke. I was even more appalled that he called me a liar and said I never even spoke to a staff member, which was quickly rectified the moment I went in to the Board of Chambers in April. That was the first time I ever went and asked formally to host a meeting. I presented my resolution. At that time, I was proposing Noom Valley. I had just started the process.
Why?
Why Noom Valley? Because Noom Valley means bono means human being. Means a human being in the Western language.
Why not check with people in Squaw Valley? About name change? Please, listen up.
Let's listen so we can get this over with.
There was ample opportunity. Now here we are. Had a full-page ad for the virtual webinar in June of 2021 last year. Went back. Asked again. You turned me away. Went back in November. You let police sheriffs escort me out because I was trying to say, hey, this is how you make us Native Americans feel. You're not listening to us. That's all I did. Was escorted out. So, my only option was then to find a legislator that would listen. Joaquin Arambia listened. And there began the grounds for AB 2022. And all of last year, I always knew I could submit a federal petition. It's my American right. It's all of yours American right. Each one of you could have submitted a petition to save the name, to introduce a new name.
Why should we say something we already have?
Because you're being challenged just like you are now, and you don't like it, and you should have had your voices heard.
And we did. Why? How did you feel?
Wait, one question. I'm more than happy to take all the time in the world, answer all of your questions. You want to get like some kind of order? We can do a question A. Come on.
Where did you get your 35,000 signatures from?
Change.org.
Nobody lives in Squaw
And none of them live here.
Did you look?
You have access to the Squaw Valley Facebook page. At no time over the last 2.5 years did you ever go on there and start a conversation. At no time. But now that it's already supposedly been passed and you've thrown out these name changes that you want, now you guys are on Squaw Valley throwing dirt at people.
No, that's completely false because we had a full-page ad in the newspaper and we had a virtual webinar. We even have a public service announcement that's touring the film festivals at the moment. I mean, it's getting wide exposure. And to act like you don't know, I hate to say it,
Why
but
are you not notifying Squaw Valley of any of this stuff?
I did. I notified the local official. I don't work for you guys. The local official works for us. So why didn't he notify you? Why didn't he send out a notice in February 2021 letting you know that the federal government was taking recommendations for all of the renamings? Why is it that S Valley Lake is now called Numahupi? Why is that?
You know how you just said that's how they do it? That's how they treat the Native American Indian? That's how you treat it.
I guess my time's up.
I want to answer a couple of questions. So, one of the reasons that the question about why didn't the meeting take place up here sooner, what I did communicate to Roman is I wanted him to set a meeting. It wasn't going to be my meeting, it was going to be his. And I've gone back and looked on Facebook, and actually I've looked at a lot of email exchanges, and there were a number of dates that were provided. Roman was adamant that he wanted it to be my meeting and he would come and speak. The reason that I didn't want to set a meeting up specifically is the issue was being driven by Roman. And I believe that Roman needed to face all of you. I never wanted to give the appearance that I was behind a name change, because I'm not. My role is to make sure that the voices of residents are heard. In regards to, he did come and speak at a lot of our board meetings, and I will share with you, Roman, that one of the reasons there was that confrontation wasn't that you turned your back, but you crossed the dais and approached the board. And we, at the Board of Supervisors, especially last year, we had individuals who had threatened board members specifically. And so as soon as you cross that threshold and approach the board, it creates a bit of a hostile situation. And so the safety of the Board of Supervisors is paramount in everything that we do. But at the end of the day, your voices do matter. And I wanted Roman, I wanted to give him an opportunity to share with all of you the impetus behind why he's done some of the things that he's done. And I would encourage all of you to continue that dialogue with him specifically. But we are here today, and I know that there are other residents that have questions to ask, and I promised this gentleman who's right behind Brett Rush an opportunity to speak. So I'd like to have him make his statement or ask a question at this time.
Thank you, Nathan, for being here today and giving us the opportunity. A couple things. I read 2022, and I read it slightly different than what I'm hearing over here, in that the federal government and the state government can change names of peaks, of bridges, of federal lands and state lands. They cannot change the name of a community. And the post office here the post office are named by Congress. And this one from, I believe, somewhere around 1895 or 1900. So that's all got to be done. But I believe Roseanne, was it Roseanne or Mary stepped up a while ago? I believe Roseanne made the most compelling argument that should end the meeting. Here, yes, thank you. She made the argument. Her grandparents and great-grandparents were the squaws that came into here. And they named it. How insulting for somebody else to come around 100 years later and want to change that. Thank you. Okay. And so yeah. Okay, I think the whole thing comes down to, no, we don't have to change your name because we're not a piece of property of the state or federal government. So no, 2022 doesn't apply to us. If there was a bridge or a peak or a monument, then they have the right to change that. They don't have the right, and that's not what the law says under 2022, that they're going to change our community. So don't accept any change.
All right, so before we get to another question, and I'm going to have this gentleman go next, over here, Brett, right over here. So before he asks this question, though, I want to let everyone know, as we, again, have dialogue, I know that all of us have a lot of emotion. Please direct your comments, your concerns forward at me. And everyone can hear, everyone can clap, that's fine. But please do not approach or say or threaten anyone here. So Brett, right here.
I have a question.
We have a microphone for you so everyone can hear.
I have a question for you. Is the name Squaw Valley going to be on that ballot?
Yes.
Thank you, because we'll vote for Squaw Valley to stay.
This young lady's been waiting a long time. She's next.
Thank you. Part of my question is to Roman. I have no issue with Native American culture. I have no issue with the name change to Yokuts Basin. I do have an issue with all of us having to redo our entire lives. As I said, I respect your culture. Is there any chance that you would back us all in accepting Yokuts Basin and not changing Squaw Valley? No. Leave it like it is what I'm saying. No, the basin has been renamed. The basin has officially been, I know, I'm asking him if that's,
Explain it again.
okay. There will be an advisory committee set up through the California AB 2022. And there is a longer time frame than I think we all believe there is. So they're going to accept public input. So we can't be upset and not do anything in writing. We can't be not represented if we disagree with the other side. So I have also been studying AB 2022.
What is Yokuts Basin? Explain that.
I believe it was called, was it Squaw Basin before? It's to the south, correct, Roman? It's to the south of us towards Tulare. Somewhere down in that area.
I think this is a great question. This is exactly why I asked for a meeting at the Board of Supervisors chambers. I don't have a screen to show you where our ancestral maps look like. I don't have any of that. You know, it would have been really excellent. And to go to your point, Mr. Magsig is right. We did start a GoFundMe for this situation. We wanted to talk about the fiduciary responsibility and the fiscal impact. That was one of the reasons of wanting to host a meeting at those chambers,
Okay, well,
but it never happened.
It
So
will be massive. Even just a passport is over $100.
$8 million has been recently allocated to remodel the chambers. $20,000 was given for the turkey testicle. I mean, there's money available. There's money available.
Roman, we're unincorporated.
There's money available.
It doesn't go
The
to
largest budget
unincorporated
cast in Fresno
towns.
County history. And you're telling me we don't have nothing?
I didn't say
I
we don't
respectfully
have nothing.
disagree then.
I didn't say that,
I
but,
guess you want to tell me.
okay, we have 3,644 residents per the U.S. Census in Squaw Valley, in the zip code. Write a letter. Get involved, and Nathan hopefully he can get us some representation with the state board, which is coming up if and when that is formed. I don't know when. But they are supposed to accept public input. So yeah, we do have a say.
Joyce, is that something you have to attend or can you write?
I don't know yet. If you look in AB 2022, it is page 4, section A. Section A, and it's advisory committee, or committee means the California Advisory Committee on Geographic Names. And it says it will be accepting public input. Now, we haven't been included, but we can be. I say don't give up.
There's a young lady with a red shirt who's had her hand up for a long time. We're going to bring you a microphone. Just if you could stand up for us, we're bringing you a microphone.
You ain't met me. I do have a question for Roman.
The question for Roman was, please don't be offended by this because I'm just curious as to why. One of the very first Zoom meetings that you had, I was in on. Mary Dominguez, I think, was in on. And we would type in our little questions and stuff. And you had people from across the nation involved in that meeting saying as to why squaw and the word brave and many, many words that we've used are offensive. I got that, I got the whole thing. But when I would ask questions that truly were kind of a rebuttal, obviously I wasn't for the change. And then in subsequent emails that you were sending out to a few of us who said we wanted to be involved, as I kept replying with, this really isn't what I'd like to see, and yes, I'd like to see a community meeting, and time after time, I didn't hear at the time it was Nathan's problem that we didn't get a meeting. It's just, you had just said there was reasons why we couldn't have a community meeting. And then suddenly I was off the email list. I was off the Zoom meetings. Why do you think that was?
That was just a simple clerical error. That happens a lot. Did you ever sign up?
Yeah, with you, on a Zoom meeting.
With me on a Zoom meeting.
Yep, right there.
Good thing I recorded them all.
You know the Zoom meeting where
I'm the
you
one
would
you
let
kept shutting
people
up.
talk?
Kept turning me off.
Just your personal.
That wasn't a Zoom meeting. That's a webinar. That's the one we had a full page ad in
It
the.
was called a town hall.
There you go. That's not a Zoom meeting. That was totally something different. That was one of the 3 requirements. See, I couldn't host a meeting like this during the world pandemic, so I hold a virtual meeting to try to fulfill one of those 3 requirements. Because the only reason why I had to go that route was because in June, when we had a confirmation to have a board meeting, thanks to former CAO Gene Rousseau, he said, hey, let's get the confirmation, the definitive okay that the supervisor wants to go through with this. He put the kibosh on that. So I'm sorry.
But every question that was asked, you told us to ask questions, to type them in, and we did. You answered question after question that was pro-change. You answered this that was negative change.
I beg to differ. Go online. It's on YouTube. Pull up your phone right now. It's posted on YouTube.
You are lying.
Go on YouTube.
You told me that there was no, the name was not changing. First meeting I went to, there was no debate on it, the name was changing.
Quick announcement, if you have a white Ram truck, 946, first 3 letters on that license plate, it needs to be moved because it's blocking cars in a white Ram truck. One follow-up comment that I need to make, so where I get, a little bit taken back, so Roman indicated that he came to the Board of Supervisors on multiple occasions last year and wanted me to organize a meeting, and yet he felt because of COVID and I don't want to put words in your mouth, COVID or other issues, he couldn't hold a meeting with you, but I want to let you know our Board of Supervisors chamber is a lot more confined, and we have a lot of people that come to that meeting, and he felt that he could come to that meeting, but he wasn't willing to come out here and have a meeting outdoors with all of you. So I take a little, I'm taken aback a little bit about why he could come to a Board of Supervisors meeting on 3 different occasions, but couldn't hold one meeting here.
You can't just spend $8 million to fix up this library inside your office.
I have
$8 million for your
I have,
office, but nothing for
question in
this
the back.
library.
This is for Roman.
Excuses.
Yeah, I'm a white chick. Straight up. But I have 4 or 5 different tribes in me. I'm the albino of the bunch. Okay, that being said, why are you turning your back on your heritage? What's the deal with Squaw?
Can you explain me how I'm turning my back on my heritage? I don't know.
You're trying to change history.
Squaw is
That's
not a
not my
California
heritage.
Indian word. So it's not.
Squaw?
No, it's not.
Memories connected to the land are not memories connected to that word.
The word squaw does
Squaw
not exist in
Valley.
any
This is where
California
we
Indian
live,
The
language.
word's not even in an indigenous language west of the Mississippi. And in the 2 indigenous languages, are you going to educate me now?
You need to go back to school,
Are you going to
boyfriend.
remove them since they're cussing?
Supervisor.
Nathan, here's a question here.
Yeah. Actually, yes. Right over here. There's a gentleman that's asking a question right over here.
My name is Lonnie Work. I'm a 5th generation Dunlap resident. I am married to an Indian. I want to cover a couple of things. I have a question for Roman, but I have a couple of things to cover. It was brought up whether this was a law and whether we had to go through it. The way AB 2022 was written, it identifies 2 things that they can cover. One are geographical features, such as any location that's publicly owned structure in the state, not limited to, but including navigable waters, geographic features, parks, state or local roads, bridges, publicly owned buildings. Place was defined as any natural geographic street feature, street or alley or other road within it. There's nothing in there that defines a community. Now, one of the things that's important to understand, when laws are written, you have to follow exactly what the law says. There's nothing in this law that defines a community. So I don't believe that the fight is over on that particular issue. But I do think it's going to be a long fight. And it's going to be. What we see right here, right now, is this is what happens in this area. This community comes together and it stands up for what it believes in. We've done that. We've done that on other occasions. There was an attempt to bring in a pedophile into this area. The community came together and that was stopped. But because this is going to be a long fight, and I truly don't believe that it's over at this point. I own Squaw Valley Realty and the Squaw Valley Motel, so obviously I'm pretty invested in this. You've already heard from my office manager, Joyce. We are perfectly willing to stand as a central information point for people to contact us. We'll help coordinate in whatever manner that you guys want, because it always helps to have at least one place that you can go to and get information. And we will certainly stand up to do that for the community. The question I have for Roman, and I've done some research into it. It appears to me that you've been an activist since about 2007. First in one shape and now in another one. Your most recent one is for 6 years. The question I have is, why? You're a Dunlap Mono, the Dunlap Mono tribe, and I live right across the street from two of our family's oldest friends. That's the Charlie family, and the Dick family. That's Dunlap. Why didn't you go after the name Dunlap? Why go after a community that you have no background in? You're not a resident of this area. As near as I can tell, this is a part of the woke culture thing that says, you know, let's take away history. So my question to you is, why in particular did you pick on Squaw Valley?
My apologies if you feel like I'm picking on you. It's not that at all. It's a derogatory word. It's one that I've always had a negative.
I never knew that till you. People, please. This is a fellow American citizen, not to take a knee. You let me I'm an old man. I'm getting tired of
So my point being, if it's such a term of respect, go to a powwow and walk up to an elder and call him that. Do it. Walk up to an elder at a powwow and call him, hey, Aunt Squaw. Do it. See what happens. It's not going to be very respectful, or at least respectfully received. So to answer your question, it's always been a negative response to me. And the more I did research on it, the more I saw that this petition exists for a reason. The S word isn't the first word to be geographically banned. It started with the N word. Then it moved to the J word. And that's why this federal process exists. And so I felt like, hey, this process exists for American citizens who have a concern to bring it. And if it isn't something that's viable, if it isn't something that warrants change, then the powers to be are going to let you know that. What did I have to lose other than let them say no? It's the same thing. You're mad about AB 2022. I took this as far as it could go. Legislators in Sacramento, all throughout the state, voted unanimously for this. The federal government's already stated it.
don't you tell your elected official to speak up for you? He's getting $160,000 a year and he can't tell you what he's done. $160,000 a year, what have you done?
And so it's funny because going back to what you say, I think like how many of you really know about the Yokuts people or the Western Mono people or the different tribes that make that up? Do you all know that it's 170 years this year since America broke its treaty with these tribes in this area? All of this is stolen land. America got what it wanted. We're still waiting for health care. We're still waiting for land. We're still waiting for acknowledgement. No, we want acknowledgement. Acknowledgement that, because lawfully speaking, I'm not a tribal person. Lawfully speaking, we're not a tribal person. And that's where it goes back to answer your question. You don't see us as we see ourselves. And that's what this word lends itself to. And so knowing that that was a viable option, when my elected official wouldn't listen to me, I went another route. I went another route.
So you mad at him, but you're not mad at the person that you elected and paid $160,000 a year to? He'll be a millionaire when he leaves office, and what has he done for you?
So I will agree with Roman. I work for all of you.
But it's supposed to be about you for $160,000
One question I do have for all of you, because I know that many of you have been here for many generations, and I would just ask, by a showing of hands right now, how many people here identify as Native American or have a bloodline that's Native American? Please raise your hand. And the reason I wanted to do this today is the media is here, and hopefully the media is seeing this. The voices that are being heard today are not only people who live in Squaw Valley, and for many generations, but many of them too have ties to the Native peoples here. So what we are hearing today is both Native American and citizens, and many times both. And I appreciate all of you in the dialogue that we're having today. So, let's see here. This gentleman right in the back, yes.
Okay, I'll start with Mr. Raintree. Thank you for coming. I won't jump on you. I only have one question for you. Really, two. One, where is your current residence? Are you in District 5, or Nathan's district? Residence?
Residents? No.
Then why do you keep calling him your supervisor?
It's the supervisor for the county. All of our board of supervisors for Fresno County work for Fresno County.
Okay, that's number one. Number two, where is all your bankroll coming from?
Bankroll? I don't have no bankroll.
Your money. This takes money. I know how it works. This takes money. You got to file.
No, actually it didn't.
Are you getting money locally or out of the area?
The petition costs nothing. You could have downloaded it. It just takes being informed. I'm telling you the truth. You think I have a bankroll? I don't have no bankroll.
Are you getting money?
I got funding from the CMAC to borrow their equipment. That's about the closest thing I have to monetary value.
But Max does $160,000. Why don't you ask him where he spent it?
They ask for donations. How many do you get?
I don't get anything. It says it right there. It goes to change.org to help promote the petition. So when you guys complain that, yeah, the community is nowhere near 35,000 citizens living here, yeah, you're absolutely right. Because that petition goes worldwide. That means people in America say, you know what, there's a place in America that residents of a community have to live under a pejorative. It's in the Board of Supervisors to say they're trying to create a community that is respectful and inclusive of all people. This name isn't inclusive of all people. It's not. You are just the majority, silencing the minority. And if you want to talk about tribal lineage for the press, where's the tribal chair for the tribe that he says lays claim here? I talked to him this morning. I talked to the gentleman this morning. The history is quite different. Where is he?
Yeah, where is the tribal chair? Why didn't you bring him?
We're having a conversation. Mr. Raintree, we were talking and I don't think I heard everything. So you're receiving no outside money to assist with any of this?
Correct.
So there's
He makes
nothing.
$160,000 a
No
year,
outside
so you know
money?
how he was
Perfect.
able to
We'll
get
check
you
on
all
that because
day?
I
He could
think
have
I'll
gotten
ask
you here
you
in
documents.
2021.
The next
He
one
has
is
the
for
money to
Nathan.
send you out surveys. So the moment Roman got started, he could have sent out
Thank you for
postcards to
coming.
everybody here.
I
So
know
you're
it's
all
a
mad at
horrible
Roman
job.
for not telling you.
I know
He's
how
actually
you
getting
think
paid
of us up here.
$160,000
We're
a
the
year
zoo.
to do this. By the
They
time he
don't
gets out
care
of
a whole lot
office,
up
he'll be a
here.
millionaire.
You have one of the
Yeah.
worst districts
And you're
to
mad
try
that
and
you didn't tell him.
control.
Are you kidding me? Hold on, time out. I gotta stop you. I have the best district.
You have the worst to control.
No, I'll tell you, I have the best district, and here's why. It's the most diverse. As far as beauty and history, if you go up into the mountains, we could talk about Hume Lake. Hume Lake, I believe, had the longest flume in the world. It went all the way from Hume Lake all the way down to the community of Sanger. I can go on and on about historical facts. Nation's Christmas trees right up the road from here. Squaw Valley, the history here in this community is strong. I love my district. And by the way, very passionate about having an opportunity to serve you.
That's going to be my next question. Obviously, Raymond has said some things that you haven't helped him. We're telling you, we want you to help us.
Yeah, earn your salary.
If not, we will find somebody to replace you in the next election.
Fair enough.
But they will. But they will. You lost.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nathan?
All right, now wait a minute. I promised this young lady over here an opportunity to speak. Yes.
Okay, hello, I'm Claire Torres. All right, everybody knows me as Belle from Dunlap to Squaw Valley. I've been up here since I was 10 years old. My stepdad was Tuffy Hall. I'm related to the Halls. Our step-grandfather was Chan Baker, which owned a lot of the property back in there, and big cattle rancher for years and years, but he would really be turning over right now. But okay, this is what I want to say. I'm just a nobody, but I did live in Dunlap. Same address, 45202 Old Sand Creek Road, Dunlap, California. And then they decided to change it to Squaw Valley. So then we went through all that, changing everything, all of our business transactions and everything, trying to get it back to Squaw Valley. So now I got papers here, certified letters, I'm just trying to pay for my gas, pay for my mortgage, and pay for my fire insurance. And when you got address changes like you guys are doing to us, I'm telling you, I've got trouble here. I can't even get fire insurance because my address says Dunlap. I live in Squaw Valley. And now you guys want to change it again. So I'm still in the process of trying to get my address from Dunlap to Squaw Valley to just get my fire insurance. My husband's passed away about 4 years ago, and you know, I'm not all that business minded, but he was. And man, the stuff that's coming down the pike to me is like, I need help here. You guys, I don't know about all your politics. I know I love the Indian Nation. My friends are Rusty Dick and the Dick family. I've known them forever. You know, and we're together. We're like family up here. And for, like that young lady was saying, to change the history up here, when you change the name of a community, you're changing history. And so we don't want that. But I'm just bringing in a little bit of just a nobody to tell you the hassle. I'm still going through legal processes here. I had to go to the county. My fire insurance man had to go to the county to get the right address. They said, all you got to do is go to the post office. I did that. It wasn't good enough. So my mortgage is different than my fire insurance. But the same house, you understand? I don't understand it, but that's just what I got papers for. So I'm trying to get it to Squaw Valley. So I don't know what I'm going to do if you change it.
And David has someone who has a comment right in the back.
It's in the budget.
I just have a question.
You've already paid for this.
For Mr. Raintree. He says that the word squaw is negative, it's bad medicine. Well, you know what? Does that mean that my grandmother, when she would call me her little squaw, was telling me something negative and derogative? And my great-grandmother, does that mean that when they would say I am their little squaw, that I was something that was not what I thought it was?
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that I had a negative relationship with that word. In my opinion, it's just as valid as all of your opinions. My opinion is no greater than any of your opinions. I'm not even trying to say that. All I'm saying is that I did what was available to me as an American citizen. I got informed, I got engaged, and I got involved. And if you don't like that, I'm sorry.
Well, you know, my grandmother wouldn't appreciate you doing what you're doing if she was still alive, and that's all I need to say. And I'm tag teaming with you.
Was that a threat in front of a sheriff's deputy?
Okay, hi, this is Roseanne again. Okay, folks, I know we all have opinions. Sorry, I grabbed it before you. One, since this is a matriarchal tribe, I don't recognize you as being a leader. Hold on. Two, the Waxahachie tribe, the Wapchumni tribe, the Kacheli tribe, the Chuckamania tribe, we don't have a recognized leader. The last federally recognized leader, and I say federally recognized for the Waxahachie tribe, was me. And that was when we were trying to get the Waxahachie tribe federally recognized. Someone over on, I don't even know where he lives, saying, I'm your tribe leader. You need to contact the people first to say, hey, do you want me to be your leader? You can't just arbitrarily say, you can't just stand up and say, I'm your leader. Okay, we have no tribal recognized leader because no one has come to us and say, I'm going to be your leader, okay? And for us to say, okay, we accept you. No one has done that. Therefore, the people of this valley does not have, I want to make this very clear to our supervisor, that we, as a people in this valley, do not have a tribal leader because no one has come to us, no one has engaged with us. And this was the question I was trying to ask earlier. When you started all of this, why didn't you come to us, the Indian people? Why didn't you come to us and ask us how we felt? I want to know that, please. And before you answer, going forward, I would appreciate it if for this community, the Board of Supervisors talk to someone who actually lives in this community, who is a part of this community, as an Indian representative. If you can tell us that, okay, I can work with you, but to have someone true from a neighboring community come down and stick his nose in our business, I find extremely offensive. I don't know you.
So to answer that, I did start with the Native community. Where else would I start?
What community? Because you didn't talk that.
I started with my tribes. Where else would I start? Are we arguing or am I going to have the chance to speak?
Sorry.
Okay. I started with the Native people. And when you say that, that's exactly the bad medicine I'm talking about. Because there's a reason why your district, your county, has the largest population of tribes petitioning for federal acknowledgement to this very day in all of America, right here, this little spare town. Because what happens is tribes splinter off. You got a well-respected elder that goes with that tribal member, another well-respected tribe goes with that respected member, and you end up having splinterations of the same tribe. That's the bad medicine I reference. And to answer your question, I went with what the state of California acknowledges as their tribal chair, Waxahachie. Pull out your phone, Google California Native American Heritage Commission. In the little search engine on their website, type in Yokuts and Mono. You will find tribal leaders. You will find their contact information. And listed in there is a Waxahachie tribal leader. When I talked to the tribal leaders in this area, I was not even appointed to the Waxahachie. In fact, I was appointed to the Wapchumni. And I started with the Wapchumni people. It was only after they said, hey, you need to go talk to this particular person. You need to go talk to this particular person. They're recognized amongst us as the tribal chair. And that's what I did. The state of California recognizes them. The foresters recognize them. So with you telling me this, I take it very, very seriously. I understand. But having not known you, having not ever met you, not knowing where to contact somebody like this, I went with my elders, where they guided me. I went with what the state of California publicizes. What else was I supposed to do? And furthermore, to you know, that particular individual called me. That particular individual said, you're not returning his calls. So I don't know why that particular individual who represents himself as the tribal chair isn't invited to this meeting.
Because he's not the
But he should be here to defend himself.
So a couple of quick follow-up comments. I want to say this. There is a gentleman here who is, I believe, the tribal chairman from the Waxahachie tribe. or he identifies as that. And I want to give him an opportunity to say a few words. And I will say this. I'm not aware of you ever calling my office looking to call me, but I do have record of us trying to get in touch with you, because I know that it's very important for me to hear from the indigenous people from the area. And I will say this too, with Roman, I am taken aback again, because I did speak with Dirk and Ben Charlie. Yeah, I know, and they've shared that with me, and they made very clear, and I think to you too, that if the name change is to happen, it needs to be driven by the community, the residents of Squaw Valley.
They need to be here to speak for themselves.
I have it in writing. You were just speaking.
I have it in writing too. That
Good.
they directly to the
So with all that being said, I want to let you know I've spent a lot of time talking to many different groups, and so there's.
Natives against natives now.
I'm not pitting anyone
Yes,
against
you are.
anyone.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
So-
Don't lie.
I document everything, so I'm always
Yeah,
happy.
so do we.
Good. I'm always happy to produce the information and evidence that I have. But I wanted to give the gentleman from the Waxahchie tribe an opportunity just to share and speak. And I do recognize that there are other Waxahchies, and if there are issues I don't understand, I can appreciate that. But I do, if he is the tribe, and if that's or the tribal chair, and that's in writing somewhere, I want to give him an opportunity just to speak his mind for a few moments. So please.
Hello, I'm Kenneth Woodrow, Waxahchie Indian tribe. I'm sitting in the background listening. I'm sitting in the background just listening to all this. The problem is not the Indians, not the tribe. It's the gentleman over there who did not inform you this was going on. Did he tell you?
You mean Magsig?
The supervisor.
Supervisor Magsig.
Who? He's not a public servant. This is a public servant over here.
Right.
Be quiet.
Watch the news. It's been on the news.
Oh, wait. I mean, I give you respect. Give it back to me.
On the microphone.
We got it going on now. Can you hear that now? Yes. Okay. Whose responsibility is it? I'm a citizen. You know, I'm not a public official. I'm not going to pit myself against my cousins. I mean, what's the point? My mom went to boarding school. We have allotment of lands. We have treaties. You know, these are things that were done. It may not have been you guys, but there's a thing called Truth and Healing Council. California is apologizing to us for what they did. They killed us. They wiped us out. Then they said, oh, wait. Where did the name come from?
A native.
No.
Well, so she named it Squaw Valley, even though it's not in our language.
Good point.
My point is, where's that name originating from? Tell me.
White settlers.
Why not name the indigenous land? The area. What's Bear Mountain? That's here. I'm a descendant. Oh, wait.
Why change it at all?
It's not me changing it.
Why anybody would want to
That's,
change it?
you could ask.
It's a federal order. Squaw in a derogatory manner, and it's been Squaw Valley for a long,
And where did it come from? Let me know where it came from.
What difference does it make?
So then how can you say we lose our history if you don't care where it came from?
Came from white settlers.
Make
From
a
Vickers.
Somebody named it at one time or another, now we're just gonna rewrite history?
No, I don't want you to rewrite history. I want to expose it. I want you to understand
It
that.
was exposed a long time ago.
Then why don't
What do
you know
you
it?
know about it?
Then why don't you know it?
Okay, I can't, you know.
I can tell you where the name Squaw Valley came from.
Yeah.
So, well, I'll just tell them what. May I come up front?
Do what you want, it's not mine.
Okay. No disrespect for you at all. But I'm Leslie Hooper. Nice to meet you. Some of you may know me, some of you may not. My name is Leslie Hooper. Our family's been up here for many generations. We ranch here. I was lucky enough as a young girl to get to know Helen Klingon, which probably some of the older people that have been here in the community know who the Klingon family is. She would tell my brother and I stories of where the name Squaw Valley came from. My voice is a little jittery right now because I'm a little... she would tell us stories. When the Indians had this whole area, the men would go away to hunt, the women would stay here and take care of the children and the land. That is where the name Squaw Valley came from. Because this was their area.
Complete information.
So on our property, I've got rocks everywhere. When we first moved up here, my grandpa was here before we were. When we moved up here, our population sign said 99. There was one light that we could see. It was a Squaw Valley store. But Helen was a big part of our community. And a lot of the old families here know her and what she stood for. She brought our community together all the time. And a lot of our ranching communities that ranch up here, we do the same thing. That is where the name Squaw Valley came from. It was never meant to be negative at all. It's part of our history of our community. We are Squaw Valley. And absolutely.
That's an incomplete
Miss
story.
Klingon had Earth's name.
Klingon.
Yes,
Klingon. Continuous. Go ahead, I'll wait. No, when did you move here? Oh my God. I know. Well, if this is your,
I know it's my meeting, but you gotta make your comments and then I gotta get to
Okay.
the questions.
Anybody know Molly Charlie, Molly Turner? Anybody know George Smith? Well, this is his history record. He talks about the naming of Squaw Valley. He talks about in 1851-52 we signed a treaty. By 1853 we were hunted down. We were hunted down to the California militia. So this is archives, it's not me. This is from the archives. I did not produce this paperwork. And so, it's not me, 1905.
What does it say about Squaw?
Lucy did remember hearing that the parents talked about the soldiers in the past. In 1855, the governor of California put bounties on our heads. Let me finish. In 18... And by that time, we had bounties on our heads. This is our history. This is the true history. What happened? Why weren't there any men up here? Why was it called Squaw Valley? What happened? What happened to the men? The men were chased down and they were decapitated. Hey, I got the warrants. I got the names here, all the family. See, these were the families that were doing it. It's all state record. So, there was how much?
All right, so there's a young lady who has been waiting a long time, and I know I'm going to try to get to as many of you that haven't had an opportunity to speak, so please.
Thank you. My name is Gladys Dick McKinney, and my tribe is 10 miles up the road at Dunlop Vandemono. I am speaking on behalf of myself, my husband, and my brother, Rusty Dick. He has 2 hearing aids from the Vietnam War, and he can't hear in a meeting like this. But he did ask me, why do they want to change the name Squaw Valley? And I said, it's not us, it's outsiders, do-gooders, who think they know what's best for us. The other thing I want to tell you, I support the name Squaw Valley. I am a woman of the tribe that can speak for myself. I do not have to have Raintree, who is my cousin, speak on my behalf because he doesn't speak on behalf of the tribe. So I want to say that let's keep the name Squaw Valley because That is our original name. Even though I don't live here, I support the girls that live here in Squaw Valley, and they live here. Now, Muggs Cannon, I don't see her here, but she's 94 years old. She is another historian. So, that book that I have, that Forrest Klingon and his wife Helen, I think Mary has it. And it talks about Squaw Valley, Pinehurst, Dunlap, Badger. We're all small communities and we need to support each other. Thank you.
All right, so we've got about 15 more minutes, so here's what I want. Again, hands raised. We're going to try to get to as many of you as we possibly can. People with microphones are going to be looking for your hands raised. They're going to come up to you. This gentleman right here with the blue hat's been waiting. We're going to start with him.
I went down to the bank today. Use the microphone. I'm not used to one of them. Anyway, I asked about this changing of the law here, to Squaw Valley or something else. And according to the bank down there, it all starts with the post office. But yet, what is not taking up a place here is what it's going to cost the people who's on Medicare, Medi-Cal, and retirement. The difference in the change in what they have to go through and the money it's going to cost. And another question that hasn't been asked here either is, Kings Canyon Unified School District, which services the area up here, all the kids up in this area, the address got to change. On account of the name. Now, has anybody been to Kings Canyon Unified and asked them what they feel about the name being changed to something else, through all their paperwork, what the cost is going to be to them?
To my knowledge, I don't believe that question has been posed to the school district, but there will be costs involved with the name change, absolutely.
Magsig?
That's the place who's going to pay for it.
He got it.
We paid for the Garland Festival.
Yes.
You can afford it.
$650,000.
Okay. My name's Tom Nichols. I live in Squaw Valley. First, a shameless plug. You'll see me on the ballot in November for Assembly District 8, and I never would have signed AB 2022. I do want to say that while there might be some valid arguments on both sides of this issue, from native and non-native alike. I grew up in a family, my mother's Indigenous. I grew up here and my dad called her Squaw as a term of endearment, but that's my personal experience. I can't say that happens for everybody. But for me, the main issue is if we want to change our name, we should do it as a community and go through the proper procedure. And it should not be forced on us, not by the feds, not by the state via AB 2022. It's a matter of free speech. We have a constitution that protects that, not just public landmarks or mountains or whatever. It includes the names of our community and our town. And so for that reason, I am definitely against AB 2022 and forcing this name change on our beautiful community of Squaw Valley.
I am a descendant of an Algonquin Squaw, and they're highly revered. I understand it's on the Eastern Seaboard, so it's different maybe in the Western states, but I liked when I came to Squaw Valley 30-some years ago that a woman was represented in a sense by the town name. How cool. It's about women and what we represent and our strength. So that's how I've taken Squaw Valley. I have a question for Roman Raintree. What newspaper did you post your full page in?
Fresno Bee.
Okay. And then for Mr. Magsig, I was wondering, when you send the questionnaires to the houses, Will it be for each adult in the house, each voter represented, or one?
One to each household.
Okay, so is it
Well, the reason, I understand. The reason is why we're doing just one per household right now is because of the time constraint that we have on all of this. Well, and also the cost. I will tell you that with this...
Why don't you take some of that budget out of your office remodel then? It's an extra stamp, so it's all the voters.
I understand all that. At this point, the mailing is going to be one per household.
But it should be one per voter.
So if one adult fills out your questionnaire, can the other adult then email you?
Yes.
And then it's counted as two, so we're still, each person's represented in the household?
If you can email me now. And
Okay.
So if you want to email my office, that is just fine. You're welcome to do that.
So I could email and he could use your questionnaire and we're counted as two?
You're able to do that. Yes, absolutely. And I will look at both, and that will be part of my tabulation. Yes. So you can photocopy it. You can do whatever you want with that mailing I send to you. So if you want to, whatever you want to do to communicate back, that is up to you. But again, I wanted to have a process in place for voices to be heard from Squaw Valley. So there's, hold on. Well, yes, because I'm going to communicate exactly what is shared with me back to the governor's office, back to the Department of Interior, and of course to Congress and to the president. So, yes.
So hello, my name is David. I'm Supervisor Magsig's field representative. So this is Brett. This is the chief of staff. We have all of our cards on us for anybody that wants to email us in as well. Looking at that, we do only have about 10 minutes left. We want to really get through as many as we can. So if you want to make your comments, we're going to bounce around really, really quick. And then we're going to kind of wrap it up because we know we really heard everybody here. And we want to make sure that you guys get home in a timely manner as well.
All I can say is you guys have a lot of audacity to stand in front of us right here and waste all our time and money when our school doesn't even have a sports program, and all our Native American kids that go to that school can't even play basketball or wrestle or do anything like that. You guys are wasting our time.
I'd like to speak very briefly to our representative here. Thank you for coming out. And I see what's happening here. I'm kind of following a little bit on Lonnie Burke's back. I had the privilege of speaking in front of the Visalia City Council when it was proposed to give a wall to BLM 2 years ago. I was the realtor spokesman. And I see a lot of what's happening here. And this, like Mr. Work said, this is going to be a long fight. And so my closing remarks would be to thank you for coming and putting up with us. We've often been known as Squaw Valley as a band of renegades, and there's some truth in that. Okay, but what I want to say to all you folks here, one of the most divisive things to break down our culture began a couple decades ago with the concept of multiculturalism. We are many nationalities, one culture. We are Americans. This divisive terminology of I'm Hispanic, I'm African American, I'm Native American. Well, let me, just rhetorical, what am I? Can any of you guess? No, what's my ethnicity? These folks can claim ethnicity, what about me? I'm a German. So what? The last time I looked at the colors on our flag, they were red, white, and blue. They were not. And if we continue this craziness in our country and don't stop it here in our community of using political correctness and start dividing people by ethnicities or start changing laws in lands because a few people get their feelings hurt. That is bad. That's bad for Squaw Valley. That's bad for an American. I've been a resident here 32 years. And when we stand in front of that flag, we say, I pledge allegiance to one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if I think of this way, folks, if you don't like the name Squaw Valley, let your voice be heard, but if it hurts you that bad, if you retain Squaw Valley, move. It's America, move.
Aren't you in Germany then?
Just hold the mic close, you're going to be perfect.
I will try to make this short and sweet. I won't give you my background because my face is an indication of falsehood. What's in the name? Once a question was asked, what's in the name? A rose by any other name as well as sweet. By any other name, a rose would not be a rose. It would be some other plant identified as something else. Likewise, a person who changes their name strips themselves of who they are. Everything changes. A different person. A new history is made. To change the name of a community, you strip away history, and now people look at themselves. In some ways, a whole community's way of life. To start anew. The same, but never the same. A community that could possibly never be put back together again, as it was before. A loss of self. A loss of self. And I will give you a little brief history of myself. I may not look like it, but I do have Iroquois blood in me. My father, his family came on the Mayflower. So we're along the line. One of them fell in love with an Iroquois woman, and they had children. To look at me, you would not see that. You would see the Norwegian heritage. And from that, I'm the third generation here. So I am a combination of both spit and vinegar and long memory. I do hold grudges. I want the name Squaw Valley to remain the same. This is personal. I have not had a history here as other. I guess you could say I'm a short time person. I've only been here 21 years. But I love this community just as much as if I was born here. Thank you very much.
Well, I got a question for all of you. You're concerned about the name change, but it had a name before it was even called that. Why not go back to that tribal name?
Why not listen to the people, let them make the choice, not you.
Go back to Fresno.
Go back to Europe.
I have a question for Roman. Everybody here has been here for a long time. Most of the people have been here for a long time. I grew up here. I was born here. I was raised here. My question for you is, what is the definition of a derogatory word?
You want to look it up?
Some people like to think before they speak.
For me, and from what I've come to understand it, and by a lot of other folks, is that it's...
That's what she asked.
Question for Roman.
Your name Webster?
Oh, go ahead. I'm just trying to silence it.
It is a word that is specific for Indigenous women, meaning the C word.
So that's any derogatory word refers to Indigenous people?
No. What did I just say? It sounds like you didn't understand what I said.
No,
I said,
you didn't understand my question. I asked you, what is the definition of a derogatory word?
It's so offensive. I don't know. I'd have to have a dictionary. I'm not a Webster.
The Webster Dictionary says it is showing a critical or disrespectful attitude. Do you think anyone in this community has a disrespectful attitude towards the word squaw? Have you heard one person say that they have that word, hold that word in disrespect or derogatory intention towards the Indigenous people?
Yes.
One person here.
Yes. One person here?
One person here in this community who love their name, hold that word in a derogatory term, derogatory way.
Yes.
Can you point them out, please?
No, I'm not going to do that. That's like a loaded question.
If anybody has any derogatory intention towards that word, would you please stand up? Woo! There's a lot of people sitting down. English language, any language, changes and evolves.
Exactly.
That word does not hold the derogatory connotation that you think it does.
No, it does. That's why it's deemed offensive by the federal government. It's deemed offensive, deemed to be equal with the N word and the J word. No, you do.
Please. Hold on one second. I have a gentleman. Hey, please, hold on. We have another question right here.
My name is David Wilderding. We've owned property up here for about 15 years. I am a Fresno native. I was attracted to this area by its topography and the beauty of the surrounding hills and lands. I was pleased to live in a community that gave a little credit to our women. With regards to what, I wasn't going to go into this, but with regards to what the young lady said just before me, my ethnicity is primarily two things: Dutch and Chiricahua Apache. Yes, I resemble the Dutch side. And maybe a sprinkling of European Heinz 57. Interesting point. We have a tool that I think probably everybody here has used at one time or another to cut weeds with. If you're in farming, you've certainly used it. It's called a hoe. Now, we have another tool that's used in construction. It's called a hoe. It's a backhoe. So, are we going to have to change the name of all this stuff to satisfy people like Mr. Raintree? The next point I want to make, and this is really serious, and I think y'all, or many of you, are going to have to take it seriously. Should there be a name change affected, and that's a probability, we have to admit that. Should there be a name change affected, and let's say we were absorbed into Dunlap, many of us, if they change the zip code, will lose our health insurance. Because a major health insurance provider for this area will not service that zip code. And I have been through that when I lived in Southern California. I have been through that. They do that. I've seen it happen. They did it to my mother when she moved from one community when she was ill and elderly to our care in our home. They cut her insurance. I had a neighbor who worked for a major company, their equivalent of PG&E down there. When he retired, because he was no longer an employee of that company, they cut his insurance because of his zip code. So that's a threat to many of us, and we need to be aware of that. Thank you.
We've got one more comment over here, and I'm going to wrap up.
Okay, this most likely will be the last one. I know we couldn't reach you, but I do have all of my cards. We have a bunch more too. The Chief of Staff, Brett Rush, also has his cards, and Supervisor Magsig has his as well. So we do plan on taking, you guys feel free to give us a call anytime. This is somebody else that we also promised would speak tonight as well.
Hi, I'm Naomi. Most of you might have recognized me from Facebook. I'm happy you guys came out today. I wasn't sure anybody was going to come. I'm kind of shaky. It's kind of overwhelming. There's just a lot of energy, a lot of emotions, and for just reasons. I made it known that I was not being spoken for by Roman, and that didn't sit well with him on social media. I speak for myself. I'm not represented by anybody else here that's saying they're, whatever position they are, that's fine. I speak for myself and my family who gave me permission to speak for them, because that's how we do it. We don't just say we're speaking for somebody. We ask for permission, we ask for their input. Squaw Valley is my home. And to see Roman telling me and telling Nathan if I'm going to be called an outsider, I grew up and I walked this field from Bear Mountain. I walked to this library. I was here when my grandma was here for all those yard sales at the church, $5 bags. I had to help carry those up those hills. Okay? I'm not an outsider. As a child, I didn't get a say when my parents decided to move. I live in Fresno now, but I'm still part of this land. This is my blood. Squaw Valley has been home. That's all we know. We have our ancestral cemetery up the road. My aunties over here clean it. We have our loved ones there still. We went creek swimming. We were here when we seen Bear Mountain Pizza come up from nothing. Trading Post was the #1 place me and my cousins went and took our dollar and got our 5-cent little chocolate candies. So I'm not an outsider. How dare you? This is my home. This is my tribe. You don't speak for me. You don't speak for any of us. We have our own voice. We will use it. You can turn your back on me. I know you hear me. I know you feel me. Nathan, I have a question. In the event that we are forced, to me, this is an oppression. Even with the indigenous people on this discussion panel who want to change these names, this is still them using their governmental power to push us and keep us down. This is a forceful name and it shouldn't happen. In the event that it does happen, I would like to know the appeal process. Because if we do have to have a tribal face, I will be that tribal face. I want this.
I want to know if you're not an outsider, because I'm answering. Because if she's not an outsider, why am I considered an outsider?
I'm from here.
So am I.
I'm from here. You're from around here. I'm from here.
All right, so I'm going to wrap up just real quick. We did great for most of the meeting. I don't want to end it on a bad note here. So we heard many different voices today, and you're going to have an opportunity for your voice to be heard even more through the mailing, through emails, and so with all that being said, clearly one thing that I've learned today from the comments one of the things that I've learned today is that clearly this issue, there is some division. That we're not 100% one way or another, but for me, the people here today, clearly, Squaw Valley is what this community wants to remain. And I need you to send that to me in writing. So, send that to me in writing, and I will...
Are you making them leave?
It's okay. Send that to me in writing, and I will be your voice, and I will fight for you all the way to the end. So thank you for being here today.
No, I'm like, you guys have like the you guys got $8 million to meet in this office and we have further insurance. Like, don't you have flat screen TVs and air conditioning and carpeting? Like, how come you can build up this library so we can meet somebody? Why don't you build up communities? $8 million.
Tell the sheriff. Tell him. He's threatening you right now.
He's been threatening us the whole time.
Tell the sheriff. Tell the sheriff. Tell the sheriff.
What's he gonna do? Yelling at me for telling my family you're a dick?
Say whatever
Freedom
you
of
want.
speech, dick.
Words don't hurt me.
Okay, no,
Yeah, I'm a fag. Definitely a fag.
I say what I want to say. I don't care where you work. This is America.
You want to make a terrorist threat in front of a police officer, assholes? Go ahead. Make a terrorist threat.
Come on, hey, guys.
Go to jail, not me.
Come on.
Make a terrorist threat.
You're not helping.
Make a terrorist threat.
Let's go, folks. It's over. Let's go.
We're just staying put. Like I said, I don't mind if
These guys are staying here. You guys, time to go. Meeting's over. Sir. Meeting's over. It's time to go.